Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Day 50, ladies and gentlemen. Day 50. 50 days into this year. And it has been a very, very long time coming, ladies and gentlemen. Not that this day is any particularly important compared to any other day, but it is worth importing because we need to once again think long term and put things into perspective. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, always remember to smile. That's much better already. Now, the whole point about me making that reference at all is because my resolutions have still been here. They've still been I was gonna say untouched, but as in, you know, put on part of the bookcase. That's kind of what I meant by that. And they're sort of just hung there over there just to make sure that you have something to look up to, if you know what I'm saying. And also, if you peel back the surface, you are going to be seeing a lot more there as well. Now, the whole point I want to bring up to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that where on earth do we go from here? What is next on the agenda? What is the next great expedition, the great journey on this road of ours? Life, ladies and gentlemen, is a journey. It has chapters, it has characters, it has places, it has tropical and exotic flavors scattered almost like stars all throughout our history. One day, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully in about maybe 10 or so years right now, I would be able to write a story that conveys just this sheer magnitude, I suppose, of what it is I'm able to explain in words that no ordinary human being would have used for more than maybe 300 years. There's so much that I'm pretty sure you guys must have heard me use the phrase, there is work to be done, always more work. And there is absolutely no exception to this rule, ladies and gentlemen. Work must continue, otherwise I'll simply shrivel up. Because, ladies and gentlemen, when you're a young person, I myself being 23 years of age, I should say, it is completely unnatural for someone like me to just stop working. Because that's like asking somebody to stop breathing. Logically, it's completely absurd. And also because you can't help but do these sort of things. Work and breathing are literally one and the same when it comes to me. I will work, and if I can't work, then I'll simply shrivel up and die, begging for air. With this in mind, ladies and gentlemen, it might interest some of you to maybe possibly overhear exactly what it is I've managed to actually do during this first 50 days of this year. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'll actually have this put down on my notes here, because I've kept a very strong record of exactly how many videos I have made and are in reserve and made for this. And counting this video, ladies and gentlemen, depending when this ends, this will be video number 311. 1 second. Right, so, but where was I? Oh yes, it may interest some of you to know that 311 videos have been made as of the recording of this video, including this one. There you go. In case you're wondering why it says 309, it's because I recorded a video earlier this evening, and I haven't put it through I haven't rendered it out yet. So, but that still counts nonetheless. Also, ladies and gentlemen, you may also know is that I have been on a diet for the last, what was it, like 6-7 weeks now? Well, it would have to be 7 weeks because, you know, this is, of course, the 50th day. And I must say, ladies and gentlemen, it's been... Shifting lifestyles is far harder at first sight than it originally states, because it almost implies from the very beginning is that you're sort of like, you're not really battling an addiction, so to say. You're battling against substituting one type of food, something that brings you happiness, something that brings you, you know, a sense of fulfilling and a sense of purpose, perhaps, if you want to put it another way. And then you want to just put some other stuff in your body, and healthier or otherwise, you grow so used to it that you almost become completely indifferent to believing you've had anything at all different. But all that, ladies and gentlemen, has not exactly led to good results in my life. I can absolutely attest for that. I think sort of like the problems where well, you know, if I've got to have to like mention this, I always knew I was going to have to like talk about this story at some point, so I may as well just like say it now. When I was 14 years old, ladies and gentlemen, I was in year 9 in secondary school, and there were a lot of good moments I had when I was that age. Unfortunately, there were a lot of not so very good moments. And one of these moments in particular is when I became addicted to one of those all-day breakfast sandwiches they would have at Sainsbury's. They would sort of like be served in these like light purple boxes, and they were sort of like at the very corner of the cooling shelves, and they were beautiful. The tomato sauce they had on it was like light, but it was very, very rich. It was like, the reason I had like the all-day breakfast sandwiches is because it was, you know, getting your money's worth, I suppose, because you also get a drink and also a snack of any kind. And there would be like numerous times in a week I would have one of these £3 meal deals, and my weight over the next couple of years just kind of like went up and then went up again. And I think it was because with food in front of you, it doesn't ridicule you, it doesn't mock you, it doesn't take control of you, it doesn't torment you. You are in complete control over this food. You can have it or not, and the food is completely, you know, indifferent because it can't fight back. It is not alive. No matter what part of the pig it came from, there is absolutely nothing there that can stop me from eating it. It gave me a sense of, you know, it devolved from comfort eating into a sort of obsession, I guess I could say. And to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, my relationship with food, eating in general, has not really been right ever since. I'm going to admit that right now. I mean, I was pretty big as a child anyway, but it wasn't as bad as you might think. Because there were definitely long periods just when I was like 13 or 12 where I could go without eating for a while. And even after my stomach was rumbling like crazy, I just felt like, nah, it's just sort of like, the worst that happened is that I would get a little bit lightheaded, but in some ways it was kind of, you know, a little bit of relief in some cases that I was just kind of like, okay, and just wait to see what happens next. When I got to like 14, there was sort of like periodical times where I couldn't just go more than about 6 hours without eating. That just for somebody who was growing, because, you know, being, you know, pubescent at that time, and I was going through these like growth spurts and all that, I needed more. That's sort of like, wow, you never would have thought about now, but that's sort of like the thing I never found out up until a few moments ago, is that the whole reason why is because I was probably going through growth spurts. But at the time, I'd like to imagine that it was not biological and it was more mental than anything else. Now, with that being said, I've made many attempts to try and shed some of this weight, because in the last couple of years, that whilst my attitude towards food has slightly improved, I am not shoveling so much down my throat, and I am beginning to like make very obvious substitutes to my diet so that everything is a lot healthier. I mean, this is already the 3rd day of Lent, and the 3rd day I've gone completely vegan, i.e. no meat, fish, or anything like that. I have no crisps, no chocolate, no fizzy drinks whatsoever. To be honest, ladies and gentlemen, after trying Lucozade only a few weeks ago, I'm pretty sure I'm never going to go back to that ever again. It's just orange flavoured sugar, and it's just not for me anymore. I think like I'm at that time in my life where I'm just sort of like, over it, I guess you could say. Now, the next point I kind of like wanted to make is that I have almost like 3 portions of fruit in my lunches, and that I have like mango, pineapple, apples. That stuff is just the pineapples like sometimes it's a little bit too sweet, sometimes it's a little bit just sour. Yeah, have you ever sort of like ever had pineapple before it goes on the turn? It's sort of like having a mouthful of hairspray. It's not very nice. But mango is just good almost all the year round. I think it's probably one of my next favorite bits of fruit there. Anyway, so yeah, as of the last couple of weeks, my portions have gotten smaller. I'm substituting, and even though sometimes I'll have larger portions, it's larger portions of fruit, something healthy, something that's not injected with venom, chemicals, sugar, or anything like that. And would you believe it, ladies and gentlemen, is that I feel, not only do I feel healthier, but I feel more productive as well. I mean, you could just put this down to the fact that I'm just putting all of my energy to use in the work I'm doing at the moment, or throughout this year, for example, or even during the closing stages of last year. I've just sort of like been on this case, and I've never took my foot off the pedal. I think it's as simple as that when it comes down to it. Now, what else was I gonna have to like say? Yeah, you could probably tell that like even at 8:45 at night, this is sort of like pretty late for me now. I have to get at least like maybe 7.5 hours of sleep a night, because I have to get up at like 6 or friggin' 5:30 in the morning. It's just it's the sort of thing that couldn't be done for anybody who was not a young man, because I've been doing that shit since I was about like 19, and still going strong to this day. But again, with the drinking almost exclusively water, sometimes I'll have like tea and that, but not really much else than that. I go through all of this, and I even do a hourly routine of exercise when I get a free quarter of an hour at work. And I must say, ladies and gentlemen, it's a slow progress, but I do feel myself changing. I feel like this is part of the process, and it's just you gotta do what you gotta do. You find routines and diets and plannings and that suit you, and that's. I'm sorry guys, it's just a little bit overwhelming to comprehend exactly how much we've done and how much we've got to continue to doing, because we've got 315 days left of this year. There's a lot on this list that has to be completed. There's a lot of this that if I don't start now, then it's probably not going to happen at all. There's also a lot of stuff on here that is definitely within my hands, but I might possibly... Maybe what probably might happen is that when I get to maybe making my 500 video, I might take a little bit of a break, maybe a month, and then resume to sort of like doing other things on this list. Because seriously, 311. Realistically, we could get to the end of March and get to maybe 512 or something like that. I'm going to make sure to at least prioritize getting as much of this done as I can. Because again, this means very, very hard work. But it also means admitting to myself that, hey, if this is what I want, then you know what, this is what you're going to have to do. Because we are nearly 1/6 of our way through this year. There's a lot of this year to go, but a lot of this year has gone already. I know it's maybe a little bit hard to like understand perhaps, but it's how I understand it. It's how I look at things, you might say. And all I can definitely say for right now, ladies and gentlemen, is that when it all comes together, people will maybe then understand exactly why on earth I chose to do this upon myself. I know it might not seem like I'm making the best decisions again, but at least they're mine, and mine alone. We learn from our mistakes, is what I'm saying. Anyway, take care, ladies and gentlemen, and at least it's one day closer to 0 hour. I can say that much.